This is Jake Seeley, and I'm the blown ACL that ruins your football season.
Good news, everyone! Let's get dangerous.
This is so cool!
I know.
It feels so right! It's Jake Seeley.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Nice try, Moonman. Pretending not to know. Earth's greatest mastermind! You just made the list!
I thought you said that was a myth.
Just because it's a myth doesn't mean it's not true.
If you all blindly follow my plan, we may have a chance.
Sure, we talk about it all the time.
Really?
No, burn.
Game on, you ducks, and time to strap in because week 9, whew, there, I don't know what sound that was. A lot of injury stuff to talk about, and some shocking ones. You can blame me for the first one because literally yesterday, I traded for Travis Hunter in the Stacked League, Industry League, that goes to charity. I'm sorry, CHKD. They donated a few dollars. I'm going to donate a few extra dollars because, man, I just got to avoid the last place punishment at this point. Everybody I trade for gets hurt. Told Dave Richard he should trade me Patrick Mahomes for all the anti-Chief fans just to test the theory. But anyway, no Travis Hunter, which means that Parker Washington is the name everybody goes to first because he's been running as the 3. But don't forget that Dyami Brown is off the injury report, a big play threat downfield. I made the easy comparison, in my opinion, if you want what to expect from these two, is that Dyami Brown is Alec Ayumanor and Parker Washington is Chimere DK, as in Washington will be volume, still a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Dyami Brown will be the big play waiting to happen. Obviously, this helps Brian Thomas as the lead option to see more targets because of the gap between the talent. So hopefully he's 100%, and if so, we can get back to fringe wide receiver 1 value, but that's how you play Parker Washington, Dyami Brown. All right, let's continue. No DeAndre Swift this week. Kyle Monangai moved way up the rankings. There is some risk, but the next option behind him isn't even Roshan Johnson. It's Travis Homer, which we might see a few carries for DJ Moore. I actually gave him a few spot bumps at wide receiver, but I do have Monangai sliding in at 14 at running back. Sandwiched between, it goes Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, Monangai, Genty, and just because that offense is killing him, I hope it's better. The volume's guaranteed for him, but again, with only Travis Homer behind Monangai, the volume should be there too, and he gets the Bengals. So anyway, back to it. Chase Brown, Warren, Monangai, Genty, and then Rico Dowdle, who, let's talk about Dowdle and the talk that Dave Canales himself said that he deserves more work. I think this could be 60-40, even 70-30, but there is some risk. If Dowdle comes out, I could see this not only this week, but going forward risk-wise, where if either one of them comes out hot and the other one comes out flat, this could be a hot hand situation for the rest of the year. Unless, like I said, Chuba Hubbard, we talked earlier on the Wednesday podcast, maybe Chuba Hubbard isn't 100%, or was that the Fantasy Pros podcast, which you should watch. I was in full costume with the Darkwing Duck. If you missed that at any point this week, multiple places, I was in the Darkwing Duck costume. But anyway, I could see if Dowdle came out and ran 5 for 8 and wasn't getting anything going, and Chuba Hubbard comes in and rips off 2 long runs, or maybe one's a reception, there's still some risk there. That's why Dowdle's at 16 and Dowdle's not up by Javonte Williams and Kyron Williams at 9 and 10. That's the only reason. Then, of course, going against Green Bay doesn't help either. Back to the Bears real quick. I slid down Colston Loveland a few spots. It is a great spot for tight ends. You start him against the Bengals, but Cole Kmet is off the injury report, so that kind of muddies that situation, even though Luther Burden is out. So I still have Loveland as a top 16 tight end, but he's not pushing tight end 1 like he was when Cole Kmet might be out. Kyler Murray, question mark. Big question mark. On Friday, wasn't even passing to the first team offense. They play on Monday night, so you need to make plans. It could be Jacoby Brissett. I wouldn't move Marvin Harrison that much, and I wouldn't actually do much to Zonovan Knight either. They are facing the Cowboys. It adds a little bit of risk, but not enough that I'm moving those guys too far. The bigger thing here is you can't wait for Kyler Murray. Unless you're going to play Jacoby Brissett and want to shoot for the ceiling, but there's a lot of other potential options. I know there's 4 teams in a bye, but only 2 of those quarterbacks truly matter. Maybe Justin Fields, but it's Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield. So you might have other options where if you just need to guarantee the production, and I wouldn't want to put it this way, like if I'm trying to think, like I would go Bo Nix even against Houston. That's a really tough matchup, but I would go Bo Nix. Matthew Stafford against the Saints versus waiting on Murray and having to take up an extra roster spot on Brissett and then pivoting to Brissett. So you kind of get my idea there. Who else do we have? Joe Flacco. Questionable, but at least we'll know by 1 o'clock, so make sure you're checking out Sunday mornings. Again, I'm over on the Discord live video answering your questions at 11 o'clock on Sunday. And then it's going to change again in 2 weeks as we have more international games. Yay! So we have that coming up. Looks like it's another Mac Jones game as Brock Purdy, still questionable. Mac Jones still leading the offense, and they said they're not going to rush Brock Purdy back. Gets the Giants, who are missing pieces in the secondary, so Mac Jones a fine mid QB2. I would go Mac Jones versus waiting on Kyler Murray, unless, again, you just need to shoot for ceiling, which Mac Jones means that Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings are both solid wide receiver 3s or 4s. Juwan Jennings sounds like he's getting healthier, according to the reports. Mac Jones still has that connection with Kendrick Bourne, and, of course, George Kittle in the mix. Just kind of limits all the ceilings all around. Somebody might be a wide receiver 2 this week. And actually, somebody might hit the touchdown and even get close to wide receiver 1. But we understand that's the situation with the 49ers. On the flip side, if you haven't seen the ranks, which I'm sure you have at this point, Tyrone Tracy slots in at 17. I actually jumped him with Monangai and Dowdle. I do think Tyrone Tracy will be the lead. I talked about him. He was my flag plant on the Fantasy Pros podcast because he's been a top 20 running back when he's had double-digit touches, which is what he should have. 49ers, not a miserable matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but a little bit of risk, just a little bit, that they use Devin Singletary at the goal line. You know, Dable loves some Singletary. There's risk here, just that Tyrone Tracy might only get 11 touches, where Dowdle should get 15+, Genty should get close to 20, Monangai should get 15+, and that's why. Another running back situation. I told you to strap in for this week. Ramondre Stevenson is out. Yeah, TreVeyon Henderson time, except it's the Patriots, and it is Mike Vrabel. And we might get some Terrell Jennings, who I slotted in at 49, one spot in front of Singletary. So TreVeyon Henderson, huge jump. I have TreVeyon Henderson all the way up at 22. But that's one spot behind Zonovan Knight going against the Cowboys. The Falcons defense hasn't been as scary of late, but it is TreVeyon Henderson. He could be a top 5 running back this week. The talent is there, especially if they stop running him between the damn tackles and actually get him out into space and in the passing game. But anyway, point being, they still don't trust him 100% in the passing game, even though he's the best blocking running back in the history of forever. But there's risk here, and that's why he's there. I would love to put TreVeyon Henderson up by Monangai, up by Jalen Warren, but he's behind Zonovan Knight, J.K. Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, Etienne, and Tracy at 17 as mentioned. I do think there's a ceiling there. I do think there's a risk that Henderson finishes behind people behind him, like Montgomery and Walker and Kamara and Charbonnet. So, moving on, speaking of Kamara, questionable. As you can see, he's not even an RB2. If you want to play Devin Neal or stash Devin Neal, I would say that if Kamara is out, Devin Neal would probably check in the mid-low 20s, kind of right around where Kamara is, because they would risk how good he can be going against the Rams, especially in a game that should be pass-happy. And Rashid Shaheed is questionable. Tyler Shuck at quarterback could limit Chris Olave, take some more shots downfield. His inconsistency could show up. This is his first true start, and it is against the Rams. So there is some risk there. And at wide receiver, outside of that, there's not very more situations that we have to worry about. Christian Watson, I have higher than most people. I have him as a high-end wide receiver 4 for his upside. Mentioned him on the waiver podcast. And that's about it. I'll be back on Sunday because I'm sure a few more things will come floating through. Watch Kyler Murray for Saturday's reports. Feel free to tweet me at AllenKid. Good luck. I can't believe Week 9 is this insane already.